I know, and which means I can't see anything. Yeah, I think so. Good morning, and welcome to this sacred practice, where we remember again the holy breath, the holy love in which we swim. Welcome to this circle of companionship and friendship, a place to lean, to learn, to love, and to remember we do none of this alone. Welcome to this season of emerging and sprouting and reaching and rising that imbues us with that same fruitful energy, a reminder of all the ways life returns again and again and again. Welcome to this celebration of the wonder and mystery of it all. And welcome to our friends Tom and Conrad, who will provide this musical portal to this celebration of the very gift of life.
All right, from two going up. Let's see if this right. There it is. Okay, good. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's a good day for singing a song. Yes, it's a good day for moving along. Well, everything is right. How could anything be wrong? 'Cause it's a good day from morning till night. Yes, it's a good day for shining your shoes. Yes, it's a good day for losing the blues. Everything to gain, we've got nothing to lose, 'cause it's a good day from morning till night. Well, I said to the sun, good morning, sun, rise and shine today. Yeah, you gotta get going if you're gonna make a showing, and you've got the right of way, 'cause it's a good day for paying your bills. It's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away the pills, 'cause it's a good day from morning till night. On now. today. 'Cause you gotta get going when you're gonna make a show. You know you got the right of way. Yes, 'cause it's a good day for paying your bills. Yes, it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away the pills, 'cause it's a good day from morning till night. It's a good day from morning till night. Good day from morning till night.
Holy Mystery. Breath within all things. We come carrying many things this morning. We have the weight of the world, and yet the anticipation of spring. Where fear has sealed us in grief, in overwhelm, and in silence, gently loosen the stones. Where our imaginations have grown small, where we have accepted death-dealing stories about who we are and what is possible, unseal the tomb that has become our dwelling place. In this season of greening earth, as life pushes up from soil, remind us that rising is woven into creation itself. On this other side of Earth Day, awaken in us a deeper reverence, that we may live in right relationship with the living world that holds us. Open our hearts that we might recognize your presence. Open our eyes that we might see the world within us and around us ripe with possibilities to journey into a new creation. May it be so. Amen. The hymn is on. So, Karl Barth, who was a Swiss theologian and who did some of his thinking during the time of the Nazi occupation of Germany, suggested that the preacher should always hold the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in another. So, does Facebook count? So yesterday, back to back on my Facebook feed were the following news items. On the home front, right here in Picton, on May the 3rd, there will be an emergency preparedness event at the Picton Community Center, providing information for us to be prepared for power outages, severe weather, food shortages, and more. We'll just wait until that buzz comes down. It started about a minute ago. Can you hear it? Okay. I'm going to keep going. And at the Creve Hills Retreat Center, Project Hail Mary, a sci-fi extravaganza. I find myself wandering, trying on for size the stories that emerged over the decades after the execution of Jesus. And I ask myself, what is it in these stories crafted by those who decades later sought to speak into the darkness of the human condition, sought to provide encouragement and a way forward when, well, it felt bleak. It was bleak. And so I wonder what it was that fueled the earliest followers of the way of Jesus to carve out an alternative, rising, emerging, life-giving community as an alternative to the political and economic abuses of their time. And then, how might this same way fuel us through the challenges that have arrived at our doorstep? And I confess, this year, it's been a year. I found myself not quite in step with that joy, that hope, that relief behind all of our Easter hallelujahs from 3 weeks ago. It almost felt, as I was considering it afterwards, that ancient proclamation, "He has risen," felt a little bit like that children's toy, the Jack in a Box, do, pop. But to what end? And really? A pop? Is that what happened? So I'd like to backtrack, if I may, and explore a central symbol of this season: the empty tomb. Now, I say symbol because symbol is the language of the sacred. As soon as we read our sacred text as a series of facts or history, we miss the point of sacred text, which is to excavate a mystery that transcends religion itself and every attempt to create neat packages of understanding. And so the question that we bring to our sacred text, the question that we bring to this story in our sacred text is not, did this happen? But does that which lies at the heart of this symbol still speak authentically to our experience on the planet today? So among the stories that emerged from these communities that referred to themselves as the people of the way, those who embraced the teachings of Jesus to create a new way forward, was the symbol of the empty tomb. It begins with Mary, Jesus' mother, Mary Magdalene, and Salome going to the tomb to anoint his body. But even before they get there, they ask the question, but who will roll away the stone from the entrance of the tomb? And this, I think, is a question for our time. On every front, there is an assault to life as we have known it: war, the price of groceries, climate change, homelessness. That's the beginning of a very long list. All of these elements creating tombs of despair and destruction, and in some cases with no end in sight. So the question rises, who will roll away the stone so that life rises again, a new way forward is created? Because tombs, by their very nature, are sealed. Like this. Tombs, those within us, those around us, seal in an old story, an old practice, an old way of understanding. And there are tombs in which we find ourselves that cannot be unsealed overnight or even in 3 days. And so I wonder if what we call the resurrection is not so much a story that we need to understand and interpret as much as it is a process that we step into when things fall apart. So I'm going to read to you another one of these stories that emerged from these communities as they sought to move through grief and loss and lay down a new way. That same day, two of them were walking to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, talking about everything that had happened. As they spoke, Jesus came alongside of them, but they didn't recognize him. He asked, "What are you talking about?" They stopped, weighed down with grief. And one of the disciples, Cleopas, answered, "Are you the only one who lives among us who doesn't understand or know what happened?" "What things?" he asked. They said, "Jesus of Nazareth, powerful in word and action. Our leaders handed him over to be crucified, and we'd hoped that he would redeem us. Moreover, some women were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that he had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. But then he said to them, 'Oh, how foolish you are, and slow of heart not to believe the prophets,' as they declared. Was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer these things?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted them the things about himself in the scriptures. And they came near the village to which they were going. He walked ahead as if he were going on, but they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening, and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. And then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. In his story, a 7-mile journey from Jerusalem to Emmaus, the writer that we know as Luke, I think, has provided a masterful template for when our world feels like it's ending. But we need to understand the language or the symbols that are central to the story, or else we will miss the invitation. So we begin in Jerusalem, a place of trauma, of loss, of shattered expectation, and we know that place, don't we? We know that place in our personal lives, and we know that place as a global community. Emmaus, it turns out, is not a town that ever existed. But it is the place to which we flee when everything begins to fall apart. And so we are familiar with that place as well. Are we not? We are told that the journey to Emmaus is 7 miles. The number 7 in Jewish tradition is the number of completion. In this spiritual tradition, the earth was created, completed in 7 days. The invitation to Sabbath rest is on the 7th day. The number 7 represents the completion of a sacred cycle. And maybe you will agree that the journey from Jerusalem to Emmaus is not just a story that happened once upon a time. It is a story that always happens. It is our story. And what are the movements within this sacred cycle? The two disciples begin in despair, blinded by grief. They move to confusion until finally something burns in their hearts and a doorway, a portal is provided for stepping into a new future. By the time they reach Emmaus, something has been revealed. Something rises in them that enables them to welcome and trust the future. I think that all of these different resurrection narratives contain wisdom for the season in which we find ourselves. I think, on the one hand, we are confronted with the question, who will roll away the stones that smother life and hope and possibilities for walking and working together for a common future? And then, at the same time, coming through this sacred 7-day cycle, another question. Can we trust that as we journey into this season of profound disruption, that we will be fueled by an ancient abiding presence that is in the very creation and at the same time within and among us? And this presence, this wisdom is on the side of life. Not the I'm back life, but something deeper, richer, more sustaining. Who will roll away the stone? Well, maybe it's a process of coming to terms with what we've lost, learning to see in a new way, and engaging in new practices that in some cases might be a return to old practices. And so allow me to share with you places where I see stones having been moved away in our very midst, and some of them quite gargantuan ones. Let me start by sharing with you a story of Ruth Crawford. Ruth will be 91 this year. Ruth is the person who we encountered at one of the winter solstice events, who learned that we were about to put a labyrinth on the property. She herself was very deeply connected to the Celtic mystical tradition, and she said, I'd like to pay for that. That story continued, but I was visiting her the other day, and at 91, she had this incredible look of joy on her face that she shared with me that her granddaughter is presently in Ireland, and she said, she's gone to excavate the goddesses that I went to excavate about 15 years ago. And I thought, there she is, at 91 years old, refusing to have her spirituality sealed by an image of some old man in the sky. the event on Wednesday night here, hosted by the Green Party, featuring 3 providers of alternative energy. This place was packed, filled with people wanting to wrestle with next steps for choices and ways that we use energy, etc., to serve not just our own needs, but the healing of the planet. Here's another one. Solo seniors living together. In a world where we know that the nuclear family is no longer a reality for probably more than half the population, and women who, by and large, have less buying power from men at the end of the day, deciding that maybe there's a better way, an alternative to carry all the costs on one's shoulders, and living in isolation and the challenge of finances and aging at the same time. And maybe, like, this doesn't need to be rocket science. We can rethink how we understand what it takes for us to thrive. And it may not always be family. And then Jesus said, time to start choosing your own family and making that companionship work. And an article just published in The Atlantic says it's way bigger than what's happening in our backyard in terms of women seeking to live together as they age. Here's another place where I think a stone has been rolled away. When I think of what was formerly on the back wall of this church, a big gray kind of crumbling cement wall, suddenly becoming a place for the rising of indigenous wisdom that Western culture had sealed behind a tomb for centuries. And finally, our lives are being revitalized. Our eyes are being opened by these indigenous stories that remind us of our connection to every little thing. And finally, this space, a space for every story, for people to gather, to learn, to converse, and to reimagine how we can be present for one another in all kinds of different permutations across all kinds of traditional boundaries. The pressures that we are facing, economic, ecological, social, are daunting. And here's the challenge. Hopelessness can feel easier. Some days it can feel more honest. But hopelessness seals the tomb. It closes down the possibility before it has a chance to emerge. The resurrection stories push against this. Not with an easy optimism, but a deeper insistence that the end is not the last word. And so during this time for contemplation, I want you to reflect on the symbol of bread. The companions of Jesus had their eyes opened when he broke bread among them. Companions, the root of the word, with bread. And I want you to consider and lean into all of your experiences of having your eyes open to the possibility when you have been in companionship with one another, when you have met a stranger and been surprised along the road, when over a simple meal you have been reminded of the depths of the gift of life. And our prayer is that these very simple gifts would be the fuel that we needed to companion one another into the next season. The hymn is on the screen. Sorry, Tom. Can we start from the second verse again? It disappeared from the screen.
Sure.
Yeah. At this time of our service, I share stories with all the ways that we, as a circle of friends, are seeking this story about hope rising, new possibilities rising, life together rising in our common ministry and mission. All right. So I thought I'd give you a little sense of how busy the place has been this week. Not just a tomb that's used once a week. Oh, come on. Why is this happening? All right, here we are. Let's try this. Is that it? Okay, let's try something else. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different groups and events unfolding here. Music for joy, theater for imagination, green farty for really important conversations, and a little bit of fun with circus, and a little bit of mindful sacred practice with sound bath and yoga, of those gathering around, again, seeking to be part of a new way. Okay, let's do this. And we, the circle of friends, in our own emerging and rising and unfolding, taking our places around these different initiatives, again, around a central vision of being here for one another, representing a story of compassion, justice, and hope for the world. Let's see where that's going. One of those circles is the communication circle, and the communication people have determined we need to find ways of sharing some of our story and initiative with the world around us, who still see an ancient stone building and in some ways seal our identity behind those walls. And so this is, again, breaking out of the box. And here's an example of one of the tiny little libraries talking about our hopeful, life-giving, forward-thinking initiatives. And that team will gather again at Lynn Stein's on Wednesday afternoon at 2. Speak to Lynn following the service for more information. And again, thank you to David Jacob, who is leading